Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's Simone from Frap Tools, and today we're going to have a small talk about our sequencer, USTA, which we introduced last week. I will talk mainly about the three main topics that defined this project, that define the design of the sequencer, which are the capability to get out of the structure, of the usual structure of step sequencers, the capability for the performer to follow what's happening and to be able to do edits in real time, and the other approach, the other capability for the performer to perform with the sequencer. So change the structure, change the tracks in real time according to his need in that moment, his, her needs. Starting from the first point, we know when we think about a sequencer, generally, at least for myself, we think about a structure of equally divided steps, which then repeats. That at a certain point, it loops back. So I think about an array of 16 or two arrays of 8 or 4 by 4. So since music is composed also is composed of events which vary in length, the first need, the first characteristic was to have stages with variable length. And in this way, we can obtain, for example, if we are playing a pattern with syncopation, we don't waste steps to connect, to measure together. We just increase the length of single stages until the one we want. Another point was that we decided to divide it in 4 tracks. On each track, there are 2 control voltages and 2 gates. And we wanted to have independent tracks, so each one can follow its own tempo, can follow, for example, an external clock, but with different, for example, even time multiplication, time ratios, or use an internal clock. We achieved that, and at that point, the challenge was to not obtain too much computational device, because it would have been a bit difficult then to edit all this stuff. And we don't like menu diving also. So we decided to go with this structure, this oval of 16 encoders, push encoders. And in this way, we can have physical control among the complete pattern that is playing. And we can do multiple edits at the same time. Also, each of those is surrounded with light feedback LEDs to display the value that is currently playing for our layer, let's call it like that. And we obtained, the result of that was that no menu diving at all was involved in the, while arranging the pattern itself, only for the settings. And that was a great point because, in this way we can make the composition much faster and easier to understand. The last thing, and then I will start to turn on something. The last thing was about the performance controls. So we divided them. We have like 3 main topics about performance control. The first one is related to the ability to change pattern while playing. So here we have one pattern that is looping. I can set it to work on 2 patterns, and for example, so we can change the loop points while playing. We can also, now it's fixed to the second, start from the second and loop until the second, and we can recall on the fly the first one only once, for example, and that's back to the first. So these things are for changing the structure of your composition in real time. Other two things are the variation of your values of what you did, of your melody, for example, and the external modulation, because it's still modular, so there should be some modulation going on. The first one, as you notice, this pattern is changing every time a little bit. We have layers for where we can set the variability per each stage, and we can precisely set the variation range, so where the new note should be related to the one you defined. This ability turns also up, comes into play also while composing, because we can also change our pattern like I did now on the fly, based on the last pattern played. External modulation. Let's go back to the first one. External modulation. We have several targets per each track that can receive modulation. So each control voltage can be routed to different things at the same time. Of course, we have pitch shifting, gauge shifting, and variation shifting, but the one I wanted to show you, it's what we call, the one we call stage shifting. So this one allows you to, as soon as you define a metric, a structure in your length layer, that structure will still be kept. There won't be variation, but we will do variation on the melody. So I enable it. You see that, you see that this highlight is going on continuously, but as soon as I move to the CVA, this one is going back and forth, accessing other notes that we already set in our pattern, so that are familiar with our composition, but in a different order, keeping the metrics. So that was the idea behind it, for to obtain variation. So again, these were the three main things about behind the USTA, our sequencer. Having the chance to get out of the classical structure, the capability to follow and to edit multiple parameters together, and the dynamic controls for the performance. And we are proud to have an artist here that probably made of this characteristic is her signature. And so I'd like to welcome on stage Caterina Barbieri.